Hi, happy you're here. Get comfy and let's get started. Sit at My Grave, Season 2, Reflections, Chapter 25. There was a mix of sadness with a nostalgic warmth as Arden and Renly sat together. They found a bit of comfort in this cozy bonding. However, seeing Renly stop and stare at a picture too long set off Arden's alarms. He kept his body tight, head bowed, just hoping Renly would move past it. He didn't have the energy to comfort her, or himself. Here's some school yearbook ones, too, Renly croaked out. Look at my handsome boys, she said pridefully. Arden, with a few rapid blinks, focused on the pictures. Every one of those held a memory for him. All the good ones of hanging out with his brother before and after school. He recalled one instance, being upset with kids mocking him when he started wearing huge glasses. He also remembered Reed taking him to school wearing some stylish ones of his own. At the time, he just said he thought they looked cool and wanted a pair, but Arden figured out he'd done it just so he wouldn't feel alone. Every memory felt so important now. The small things he never noticed were painfully obvious now. Flipping through the pictures was difficult for many reasons. There was a certain feeling in the air seeing photos of Easton in there. Both Arden and Riley remained quiet on it, though. Even if in some ways Arden found it soothing to look at those memories with his mother, he couldn't even be content reminiscing without some guilt. As they got further into those pictures, he began seeing the ones they'd taken when he started fighting with Reed. Arden fought back a shudder, keeping his face plain as he listened to his mother speak. Oh, I wish we could have redone this one. Had to wear that awful patch for this picture, Riley commented, frowning. Part of Reed's face and around his eye were being covered in one of their professional family photos. Arden leaned forward, eyes narrowing. This was taken a little while after his and Reed's argument. He could practically feel the awkward aggression just from seeing the image. He cut his hair, too. I wish he would have just asked me instead of doing it himself, but he said some kids were teasing him at school, Riley said, though now Arden was hardly listening. After their argument, Arden didn't really see Reed till the next evening after school. He remembered overhearing him mention he had gotten into an awful fight there, which was the cause for the patch. Riley had even taken him to the doctor when she finally noticed it, so he could get properly looked at. Arden didn't know the extent of the injury. He wasn't much included in the conversation about it either. At the time, he didn't care much to be. He vaguely remembered a time where Riley was taking him back and forth to the hospital after the initial visit. Things weren't adding up. Now that Arden thought about it, back then he didn't think much of it. He was a little shocked since in that time he wasn't aware of Reed fighting that much. But he chalked it up to Reed turning into a delinquent or something, like his father said, just doing stupid things. He didn't know everything about Reed, he established that. But hearing his mother saying Reed cut his hair because some people were teasing him didn't sound like him at all. Arden knew that much. Reed did his own thing. He was loud, eccentric, he dressed rebellious, especially in those times. He wouldn't have changed his appearance that drastically because of what some other kid at school said. No way. And the fact that he got that injured at school seemed strange, considering he was told Reed didn't lose fights. Oh, honey, Riley spoke softly, nudging away the book. Arden shook his head, getting out of his thoughts. Riley studied his face before speaking again. She placed a warm, soothing hand on Arden's back. It's okay to cry, she said, shocking Arden. He opened his mouth to speak, but couldn't decide on the words. Riley took it as him being choked up and just scooted closer. We're all trying to be strong for each other. It's exhausting. I know you're hurting. There's no point in hiding it from your mom, okay? I'm here to help you, Riley gently reminded him. Arden blinked a few times, eyes slightly widening. He wasn't supposed to be doing this for her, giving her this comfort, but again he was being coddled. It was a pathetic feeling. I'm fine, Arden told her. He now questioned if she really just wanted to look at these photos with him, or if she was doing it to get him vulnerable the entire time. Things are going great, Arden lied further. He tried to sound more convincing, but that sympathetic smile and gaze Riley gave him told him she didn't buy it. Look, I've been bad about catching these things before. I'm glad I had someone to tell me you were struggling so terribly. Now I can help you. I'll even take some time off work if you need me to. Really, Val. Arden's lips pursed together, and he stood up, ripping himself away from his mother's warm embrace. He felt his chest tingle with heat. He didn't like her pushing. Obviously, everyone was upset about Reed, but he was doing fine. Better than her, he thought, but he bit his tongue on voicing it. I don't need you to do anything. I'm fine. I just told you I'm fine, Arden argued. Billy stood up with him. She gave him another hug. You aren't. If you're doing this for me, you don't have to. Just because Reed looked after me doesn't mean you need to, Riley told him with a gentle firmness. Arden's blood boiled, his jaw clenched, and he did his best to get out of Riley's arms without snatching away. Arden felt his chest throb. Quietly, he had been trying to fill the gap that Reed left. Even spoke at his grave about it and promised him he would pick up where he left off. And to hear Riley bluntly say it like that, the feeling swelling within him was gross. He couldn't decide if he was angry, hurt, or embarrassed. He just wished the feelings would go away. Riley stepped back, giving him space, seeing the look he gave her. Arden, being mentally hurt isn't anything to be ashamed of. When Gallon told me... Riley tried again, but Arden interrupted her. Gallon told you what? He almost said through gritted teeth. That you were depressed, Riley responded meekly. For a moment, Riley's voice faded from Arden's ears. Her soft words of encouragement disintegrated. All he could feel was a stab of betrayal. He'd been missing his friend, upset at the fact he wasn't around. But right then, he wanted him nowhere near him. With a look of disgust on his face, Arden sharply turned to walk out. Arden, please. You have to talk to me, Riley begged. The stress made itself apparent on her face. I'm not perfect, but I am your mother. Riley paused for a moment to sigh. I just want to help you. But this isn't going to work if we don't trust each other, she said in a quieter voice. Everything was difficult. Life just seemed to domino behind Reed. Riley had felt weak before, but there was a different type of hurt when she was really trying to speak up and voice herself, only to be shut down and pushed away yet again. Arden relented and turned around. If this is about trust, you should trust me when I say I'm okay. Gallon doesn't know how I feel. He's not even here, Arden replied. Riley cast her eyes away. She let out a shuddering sigh before facing Arden again. Okay, I believe you. If there's ever something wrong, don't hesitate to tell me, she said. Arden just nodded. He was angry, but all of it wasn't directed at his mother. When Riley hugged him, he even attempted to hug her back, though the aggravation was clawing up his chest, threatening to burst out.